Having said that, everything that we are able to achieve today is primarily due to the vision, inspiration of His Holiness in one way or another. So very, very easy to remember this and feel very fortunate to be. And especially I have been talking to many young people, and in fact as I grow older, I had asked this question to myself, what is it that I'm going to live when I die? So one thing that I felt and thought that the elder generation should share is the knowledge, the wisdom that they have, the experience that they have. Don't carry those knowledge, wisdom, and experience with you, but leave it to the younger generation. So in my own personal case, I'm very strongly focused on this and doing my best. So therefore, as she already mentioned, that whether it is for the humanity or for the Tibetan people, the most important thing is action. Action speaks louder. In Buddhism, we have a very beautiful teaching saying that ignorance is the root cause of suffering, which is also true within knowledge. At the same time, there is another modern saying which says, inaction is the root cause of suffering. And as you very clearly highlighted, unless, especially in the case of our Tibetans, we are fortunate, as I said, we have His Holiness and also many friends like people here. Why they are supporting us? Why they are coming to Dharamsala? They are not coming to Dharamsala because we are a bunch of handsome-looking guys. And also they are not coming because Dharamsala is unusually beautiful. They are coming here because they appreciate His Holiness guidance. They come here because they appreciate our culture. They see some hope in the present reservation. And therefore, going beyond the traditional process, His Holiness has taken this great initiatives of teaching science to all the monks and the monasteries. And of late, he has been talking about teaching secular ethics in schools and universities. And luckily, in both of these initiatives, I'm playing a very important part. And now, because of His Holiness initiatives in India and also in many parts of the world, many schools and universities have started teaching secular ethics. So from this, what I'm saying is, and it is in fact said that secular ethics or universal ethics is like water. Religion is like coffee or tea. If you want coffee, okay, fine. If you want tea, okay, fine. But it's not necessary that everybody drink coffee or everybody drink tea. But without water, we will die. So that kind of universal ethics is extremely important. I'm therefore very grateful not only what you are doing, but the core idea of your work is rooted in compassion, wisdom, and do something not just for Tibet, but for everybody. That's very, very important, because if you really take a little bit time and see carefully, then unfortunately today we will find people are paying more attention to what is secondary, like which religion you belong to, which country you belong to, things like that. But if you look carefully, the most important thing is the basic human values. And I always share this idea with people. For example, if you look, what is the first thing that the child does after the birth? The first thing that the child does after the birth is crying, not laughing or smiling. Right? And by crying, what do you think the child is asking? The child is definitely not asking for a lengthy discourse of religion or Christianity or any religion. The child is asking for unconditional love, which is the universal spirituality, which is the universal ethics. And that is becoming a rare commodity into this world. Just today, one of my friends sent a long article from America saying, Ishila, can you find somebody to translate it? And the title of that text was Dark Age of Materialism. By that, we are not saying that we don't need material development, but in addition to the material development, if you don't have the sense of responsibility and love and compassion for the people, what you will see is the rich growing richer and richer, and the poor people everything. On the one hand, you have high-rise buildings. On the other hand, that particular city or town is now not fit for sleeping, not fit for sleeping. So much water pollution, air pollution. That is the real thing that we are experiencing today. And we call ourselves intelligent human beings. If you are an intelligent human being, how come you are not able to solve this basic problems of shortage of water, clean air? Now we need to drink from bottled water. Because somebody said, if you don't drink from the bottled water, you will get sick. There is an element of truth there. We have polluted our water so much. In Tibet, water means drinkable from anywhere, any place. Now, even if you go and live in a 5-star hotel and ask, I did ask that question to somebody, can I drink from the tap? That was in a 5-star hotel some years back. And he said, maybe, but he was not so sure. That is the tragedy of the world today. So what I'm really saying is, in our own individual capacity, whatever we are able to do, we need to do. We're in a very difficult, urgent situation because the environmental degradation is happening in a very, very unnoticeable way. And now it has already come out in Indian newspapers during the last few days that in the next some years there will be increase in the temperature, 2, 3, 4 degrees, for example, in India. And the effect of that is alarming. So we all have a responsibility. And as I said about this bottled water, if we don't be careful, next time somebody will sell you bottled oxygen. And you will again be like a stupid fellow with your thing, you will take it away. That's not the solution. The solution is we all need to take responsibility. And that is possible if we are able to see each other as brothers, sisters, or in a more exact way, we should see each other as people with difficulties, people with sufferings. Right? So there is a lot of teachings in Buddhism. For example, there is a teaching which says, you don't have to kill people, they will die. Look at the wisdom. Whereas the so-called powerful, intelligent people, they are making so-called smart bombs to kill people, smart bullets to chase people and kill them. The Buddhist teaching says, no, you don't have to kill people, they will die. Meaning that if you have that kind of understanding, you don't have to create suffering on other people, they're already suffering. They already have one or the other problem. So what we need is not additional suffering, not additional problem, but assistance. And one of the most important practice that is done in Buddhism is called meditation or mindful practice. Mindful means live in the moment, be happy today, not tomorrow. Tomorrow, not very sure. Today is cash, tomorrow is post-dated check. So it's not very sure. So there is a technique to be happy. And that happiness will come not from money, not from external event, not from external situation, it will come from positive mental attitude. So therefore I'm very glad that you survived not only 1 month but survived 5 years. I'm definite that you will survive. So we need more support from you. This is what we call. Similarly now we have new staffs, 10 members. I'm sure they're all working very hard. So on this very special occasion, not only I would like to say happy birthday, but I would, pray for the longevity of your life. Thank you.